So I first discovered the Grotta about 12 years ago when I first moved to Prague, Czech Republic. Back then it was completely in disrepair and abandoned, like most things in parks and such. That is until they've joined the EU and it underwent renovations, and now it's a bona fide, albeit off the beaten path, tourist attraction. So let's check it out. Amazingly, this entire structure is built right in downtown Prague on the fringes of Havlíčkové Sady. Sady meaning park in English, and you can see some of the colorful apartments overlooking the Grotta that line U Havlíčkové Sadu above. I've got to show you around this place because this is quite the structure to behold, especially considering this was a completely private build. The Grotta looks like something out of a fairy tale and is actually here because of one man, a millionaire named Moritz Gröbe, who lived just on the other side of this park. And he had this place built in a semicircle into the rocky hillside leading up to Prague 2 in Vinohrady between 1871 and 1888. And it was his own personal getaway, complete with an archway entrance, multiple passageways, artificial caves. And we're now on the second floor, and if you look right down there, the Grotta even came with a beautiful fountain, complete with a giant statue of Venus. Who wouldn't want a place like this in their very own backyard? I actually first came across the Grotta when I was living in Prague back in 2007. Yeah, that's me.
I think I've ever been to in my life. I come here a lot and just, I don't know, reflect. Anyway, nobody really knows what it is, and it's certainly not a touristy place.
I had absolutely no idea what it was at the time and couldn't find any information on it, especially being that it was long abandoned, in a state of complete disrepair and pretty much forgotten. I'm not completely sure how it came to be abandoned, but I can almost guarantee that the occupation of the Germans in 1939, the onset of World War II, and the post-war years of Soviet occupation until 1989 had something to do with it.
How crazy is this? Anyway.
I apologize because I realize I keep going back and forth on the pronunciation for this place. It's really messing with my head because I know the pronunciation to be Grotta, while my Czech friends call it Grotta. So just bear with me. This is just one of the many elaborate corridors leading to the caves running through at the Grotta. And it's actually quite amazing to think that there was a time in Europe when artificial caves were all the rage, an undertaking made by men of means to escape the everyday grind of life in the 19th century. And look at that, right at the top of these stairs, there's just some wild mushrooms popping out of the concrete. Mushroom picking is huge in Czech Republic, but it can be a very dangerous endeavor when you don't know what you're dealing with. So I'll just leave these as they grow. Just your average day in Prague with some break dancing in the background. Some hot moves.
What's up, y'all?
And just above us, this is the entrance coming from the street above Havlíčkové Sady, and it's actually my first introduction to the Grotta back in 2007. Can you imagine how befuddled I was to just randomly discover something like this while going on an innocent walk around my new neighborhood? To be honest, this place really became my safe haven and somewhere I could just be alone and gather my thoughts. Back then, I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone around here, and it was basically my own cave to do whatever it was I wanted to do. Man, I miss those days. Now, if you look beyond the trees over there, that's the original house owned by Moritz Gröbe, now known as the Gröbe Villa, which now serves as a vineyard and restaurant. And guess what? Our breakdancing friends are still at it. And I wonder if Moritz Gröbe, yes, that's him right there, I I wonder if he could have ever imagined this is what his precious Grotta would eventually be used for 130 years later. So the Grotta underwent restoration a few years after the Czech Republic joined the EU in 2004, and in 2011 it was finally open to the public for the first time. I'm going to just cut a right here and walk down this corridor and show you one of the caves built into this structure, and I believe there are 4 such like caves in the Grotta. And if you look closely and stare at the bottom of the material that this cave is made out of, it actually looks like there are skulls. Pretty neat and creepy. It's pretty dark in here, so I'm not really sure you can fully appreciate the craftsmanship of this place. Whoa, that kid seems super determined. So serious are these Czechs, even as youngins. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information about what materials Gröbe and the architects used to create the Grotta, but I'm guessing it has to be some sort of concrete. It has an almost stucco-like feel and look, but that would be too brittle for the elements and the amount of time it's been here. Anyway, that's it for me from the Grotta in Prague. I've got some other exploring to do around the city, so until next time, stay beautiful. This is OBSCURIST TOURIST, signing off.